Hi folks, Bay State Yankee here. I recently picked up a new router. It's a Dewalt DW618, 2¼ horsepower. It's got the soft start, so it doesn't come on like gangbusters. It just builds up, I will say slowly, but it goes up pretty rapidly, pretty good. It just, the old ones would come on instant, and I guess that wasn't good for the motor. I had a Craftsman for 25 plus years, and it worked well for the jobs I put it through, but it finally died on me, and I thought I'd upgrade to this Dewalt. I think it's doing a pretty good job for me. It hasn't let me down, because I've only had it a short while. But anyway, I thought I'd do a little video and show you how happy I am with it. So let's get started. As you can see, I ended up getting a table to go with it. It makes perfect sense. It's a really rugged table. It comes all in pieces. You have to assemble it. I'm still working at fine-tuning the deck here. I got a little bit of a lip, just a hair, enough to catch a piece of wood going across. This side seems okay, but that's easily adjustable. It comes with good instructions. We'll get that done pretty quick. I got the guard on it. It came with several extra plates here, depending on the size of router bit you're using. Handy little tool to remove it. What I enjoy the most is the ease of inserting the router into the bracket underneath. Underneath I have a bracket like this hooked up without the plate. It's in there permanently. And all I do is, there's a quick connect on the wiring. I take that off and I can plug it in. It goes in like this. Fits up in there, snaps into place. There's a buckle, and that's it. You're good to go. So you can get your bit in there, get it, do it on the bench, then do it, and then the last thing you do is you plug in the cord. That keeps it safe. There's no way of it going on while you're doing it. To take it out, you undo the buckle, press these two side pieces, that comes right out. I bought this separately. It's great if you're going to be doing something out in the field. You don't need the table. You can take this and just go like a normal router would go. After I got the table, because I run a separate vacuum for my dust collection, I opted to get this. There's a place where I can plug in my vacuum and the router here, and then take this cord to my power source. I can throw one switch, both go on, takes care of the dust. It's a really good unit. This is the back side. The only flaw that I find, and I don't really consider it a flaw, but it's a small issue, is getting this thing getting the fence perfectly aligned. It's a bit of a challenge, and it does take some time, but you save a lot of time on the setup of the router, so, it's fine with that, but I'll live with it. Setting your depth is easy, and it's even easier when you incorporate these measuring bars I picked up from Kreg. They're super nice. You put them right over where the bit comes up. This one's 1/2 inch. You raise up your router to 1/2 inch, and you're dead on every time. Every time. I can also use this on my table saw and other tools. Well worth the money for these. It was a good job. When invented this, I think, is needs a pat on the back. Picked up a feather board for it. Really handy, makes it really safe. Can't say enough about that. That's a good deal. They have some expensive ones. This tends to be on the least expensive, but it works well just the same. So I'd highly recommend getting one if you don't have one already. I also got the edge guide. I have not used this yet. There's a lot of questions online about it, how well it works, blah, blah, blah. I decided to get it, and I'm not sure I'll ever even use it now. It fits the full range of the Dewalt routers, but I see a lot of folks asking comments if it fits some of the other brands, and I really can't say for sure. I thought I'd use it. I guess I'm not going to, so here it is. And then I have it comes with the wrenches. I bought this centering cone, you know, to center the router. I'm not sure that was a necessary item, but it's put up by Bosch. But I got it anyway. Okay, so here's this roller stand. I've got a situation where I don't have room in my garage shop in the winter to house this. So I have to move this table into the basement shop each fall, and then in the spring I bring it back up. It's heavy. So I broke it down into 3 compartments, the bottom, the middle, and the top. Excuse me. And then I added the top to it, but I overhung it on the left so I can use it for clamping purposes. I made the dimensions 35 inches wide by 24 3/8 deep. This is so that the Kreg table will sit perfectly on there, and I'm not in danger of it falling off. The height of the table was set at 32.5, and that makes a good working height for me as I'm taller off the Kreg table once I have the router in place. And that you have to pay close attention to and adjust according to your own height. I then couldn't decide if I wanted to do drawers or doors or how I wanted to house my items underneath. So I started by building a couple of these drawers out of scrap wood. I attached a piece of dowel to the front, the whole rack as a handle. Seems to work pretty well for now, until I can determine what to do. They go in the first slot. The bottom slots just have stuff put in there, and I have just recently decided that I'm going to do plastic bins. It makes perfect sense because the dust collects in the shop and it gets all over the items, and it's not a super big problem, but everything gets really dirty and dusty, so I think that I'll just go with the plastic bins. Okay, here's the construction method. I put a plywood base on the bottom of each section, and then I built a back and 2 sides, and they're just prefab panels. They're 1x2 strapping I picked up at Home Depot for another project. They go around the edges, and then there's a 1/4-inch Luan panel that just floats inside there. I routed out the 1x2, and in fact this is a piece of the 1x2 here. I routed that out, and then the panel just floats inside there, and I glued and stapled the ends. So I had the 3 panels. And then there's a corner post on each corner. I want to say this was a 1.5 by 1.5 inch, and I rounded off the corners, again using the router, and just assembled each panel individually. On the top is what would be a face frame. It's pocket hole underneath. You don't see that. And then that sits there. There was no need to put any plywood here because the next shelf would cover it. And then I sunk in some 3/4 inch dowel and rounded them over. And then I drill the appropriate holes in the next unit to accept it. It just fits snugly together and it never comes apart until I go to move it. So I did all 3 sections this way. And then as I go to move it into the basement, I'll just simply empty the unit and carry a piece down at a time, reconstruct it in the basement quickly, and then move my stuff down. It means more trips, but it's easier to handle. Here's another shot of the second unit taken off, and you can see the panel a little better. It's just a very simple construction. I'm sure there's some better ways of doing this. I was working totally with leftover plywood and leftover 1x2s, 1x3s. I did have to spring for 4 3-inch locking wheels, but that was it. So it kind of helped me clean up my shop, solved a major problem, and got away with it pretty cheap. So next I'll be selecting a new color of paint to put on it, something for the top to finish it off, and then I'll work on that during the winter. So that's my new router, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have comments, please leave them in the comment section. If you have questions or if there's something else you'd like to see, shoot me a note. I'd love to answer it. And check out my other videos on YouTube. So this is Bay State Yankee, going in for more coffee. Thanks a lot and have a good day.